So, yeah, also thanks, Ishi and Anna, for inviting me along today. As someone who came out quite late, actually, media representations of gayness have been really important. I think kind of during my 20s, most of my 20s, the L word was basically my only link to lesbian life. And on a sort of more serious note, it's been absolutely wonderful watching all of these lovely films and not be the one behind the camera, using my charm and emotional blackmail in order to get them to speak about something as lovely as love. So actually, if we kind of just play the first clip and then I'll talk about that after.
Who or what was your first love?
Bow Wow.
A Bow Wow?
Bow Wow, the artist.
The artist?
Yes.
Tell me about Bow Wow.
Oh my god. Wow. He just got nice hair, and then the way he swag was on point, yeah. The way he used to rap and bite his lips, just turned me on. Every time, like, Bow Wow, my dad knew the song came on, I was really in love with him. But then now, he just got old and ugly. Not ugly, but he cut his hair off and I don't like it. But when he was younger, I was so in love with him.
Amazing. What age were you then?
Yeah, 11. No.
You were 11?
Yeah, 11, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a moment where you first remember seeing him?
I never actually saw him in real life,
Okay. Or do you remember seeing him on TV, like the first?
Yeah, I used to always watch his videos and stuff. The first video, was, what's the video called? I can't even remember yet, but he was in a car and something. There was girls running after him. Oh my god, he was so sexy. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
So what I love about her, apart from the fact that she obviously looks really, really cool, is that her first love is completely kind of transient and temporary. She sees Bow Wow, she thinks he's hot, really, really hot, really fancies him, and then he gets old and she's not interested, and she probably moves on to someone, in real life, or and posters aren't necessarily on the bedroom wall. But I sort of the comparison. I've watched all of the films, and something that kind of really struck me was that I think for when gay people use a media representation of someone that was their first love, it has a much more can have a much more profound influence on their kind of coming out stories. So there's another really great video by a friend of mine called Rachel, and she talks about seeing Rona Cameron on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here when she's sort of 16 or so, and that's her first moment when she thinks that she might be something other than straight, and she immediately rings up her friend and says, well, I think I might be bisexual, and I think I might fancy Rona Cameron, and I think I might be like Rona Cameron. It's not even hot. So, and so that's what I kind of like about, the sort of contrasting clips. So for Rachel and Rona Cameron, this is the start of a very, a life-changing experience that sets her on a path to, being gay. And for this kind of young lady, she sees Bow Wow without his top on, and it's really like hot on a physical attraction, and then she parks it there in the past. So the next.
So who was your first love?
So my first love, I would say, was the queers, like all the queers.
All the queers.
And I was like stalking them on the internet and like really watching for what they were doing. I was at boarding school at that time, so it's like really so I was like, oh yeah, what's up with the queers? And then I started recruiting and like being recruited at the same time. And then I said, this is not enough, I have to get more and get more. So then I went through over Europe to find them, and then I cannot find them, but not enough, so I had to move to San Francisco to find them. And then I moved to San Francisco, and I here are the queer, this is a fair amount of queer, that's nice. I like that.
So San Francisco is like a big internet forum. But
yeah, it's like the gay town.
Where was your boarding school?
I was in Toulouse, France, in south of France. Yeah, that's where I grew up.
And what was it about, talking to those queers on the internet forums?
I was just talking at them, I was like, oh, what's up, because thank you interweb, we can access to a lot of things we wouldn't have before, so I was like, the first time I knew Dax was something, it was cool to me, and you can have tattoos, and it was hot, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure, count me in, I'm here, and yeah, I guess that was actually my first love.
Yeah, I really love that. Really love that clip. And also, I think for a lot of gay people, obviously, internet forums like Gaydar have been, chat rooms have been really important, not just to get to know other people, but just getting a date in the first place, really. But I think sort of more important than that for me was where she's talking about sort of seeing pictures of gay communities. So the way that social media is used now means that we have access to whole gay communities as young people, rather than just kind of these sort of anonymous chat rooms. I mean, I think about a year or so ago, a friend of mine, Krista Holker, documents queer cultures. She's a photographer, and she keeps all the photos on some public access on the web. And about a year ago, she noticed that her photos, and also some other people doing similar things, were being reblogged by much younger people, sort of in their sort of mid-teens. Not just in the UK, but sort of wider than that. Quite often, just sort of picture blogs, actually. And of clubs in New York, sort of Twat Boutique in East London, and she was sort of, she was amazed by this, and it was a bit of an outcry over it. And she, I said, I was, chatting with her, and I said, do you mind? And she said, well, actually, I wish that they would use my name and attribute them, but of course I don't mind about them using the photos. She said, how amazing would it have been if, when we were that age, if we had been able to access those sorts of photos that show, you're not just, these aren't communities that you're just part of by dint of your sexuality, but actually these are really cool communities with their own cultures that you actually want to be part of because they look really cool to hang out in as well. And so the sort of, my last clip, I'm just going to say a quick word, is from a. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about a kind of, as a sort of filmmaker's perspective, about what it is to be in or out in television, which is obviously quite a mainstream medium to be working in, and how much you kind of want to be labelled as a gay filmmaker working within it. And I'm going to show you a short clip from a trailer for a documentary we've been working on for about a year and a half with a friend of mine, who's also one of the founders of Fringe Festival, Liz Collier. And it's about gay siblings, and it's about me and my sister. I can't see you yet. Hello! Oh, very exciting! When I was 18, my sister came out to me. And it took nearly 10 years for me to properly do the same. I was worried about what it said about me, us, and our parents. I became obsessed with finding other families with multiple gay children and found they were everywhere. I had hundreds of emails from siblings and their parents wanting to share their stories, sometimes heartbreaking, often hilarious.
When she was younger, I actually thought, oh my god, that kid's gonna be a total lesbian. Like tomboy, like the short hair, like she was like a mini-me, basically.
It's about secrets and truths, it's about identity and love, and it's about bonds and barriers. So one of the arguments that me and Liz have had repeatedly was whether or not I should be in it or not, and whether I wanted, and therefore once I was in it I would be a gay filmmaker making gay films. And there was a sort of double issue as well, then it would out my sister, even though she's probably sort of gay at 50 paces. So that argument was quite annoying, actually. But it kind of is, it sort of is an issue for me, and I didn't think it necessarily would be, because actually I work in quite a lot of sort of areas that are quite sensitive with people who aren't massively into homos, and it's one of those, so for instance last weekend I was at Passover dinner with a rabbi who has helped me, a strictly Orthodox rabbi who has worked with me on a couple of programmes in the past, been really helpful, and I want to work more with them and with him. And conversation turned, as it does, to this matchmaker, Orthodox matchmaker, who's been trying to set me up with her cousin Darren for the last kind of couple of months or so. And she sort of texts me periodically, and I say, in the most oblique way possible, I just think that's not really necessary at the moment. Anyway, so this comes up in conversation, and the rabbi, and I said, well, she's still trying to set me up, and the rabbi says, well, don't you want to get married? When are you going to settle down? I was really so like, oh God, I don't, like, when am I going to, if we're going to have this ongoing relationship, then like, I need to tell you, but now is not the time to say, well, actually this morning I flew in from this lovely holiday I've had with my girlfriend, we went to Slovenia, and we stayed with these like 2 gay boys as well, who've got this lovely holiday home, and you know, one of them's a bear, if you want to talk about that. You know, and I didn't say it, obviously I didn't say it, but you know, but I also think that because of the way that we use the internet, because of social media, actually these questions aren't even going to be relevant anymore, because so me and Liz did a kind of press push on Gay Sibs, and we got into After Ellen, which was like, you know, big deal. And then I saw it online, and I saw like my face and like all this stuff about me and my big gay sister. And I was like, oh no, what have I done? And I was chatting online to Krista again, and I was like, oh, you know, have I done the right thing here? And she was like, hey, you know, you are gay always. This is my big gay sister coming in there.
We've been practicing that entrance for ages.
You just missed yourself on the telly. So what was I now? Yeah, so talking to Krista on G-Chat about it, she said, well, you know, like basically, you know, you're already gay all over the internet, and that is like mainly her fault anyway. And secondly, you know, it worked for Ellen, so what's your problem? But I think they probably, you know, and I agree with her in a sense, but I think there is a limit to your kind of influence of being, you know, just as, you know, being a gay filmmaker, making programs about just gay things. I have lots of personal issues that I would like to discuss in the most public way possible, much to my family's disgust and distaste. And I think the kind of ideal state that we're looking for is that, you know, if you're, you know, we want more people working in behind the camera in television and in film whose sexuality informs the way that they make the programme, informs the product of it, but is not the kind of driving force and the sole reason why they're making those programmes.